BNC, Bills News Consolidated. Welcome to the 2023 NFL Mock Draft Simulation presented by Bills News Consolidated. I would deeply appreciate it if you guys considered hitting like and subscribe for future content. Haven't been live in a little while. Been dropping videos every single day heading up to this NFL draft. And here we have a breakdown of all the pre-draft visits by Brandon Beane. Any player that we rubbed elbows with before this NFL draft, there has been 56 players that we kind of spent some time with getting to know. We know the importance of that. Sean McDermott wanting to know how these players are going to fit on this team. So we couple that with the player interviews, right? How many players did we rub shoulders with combined with Pro Football Focus's overall rankings? You guys can see here, I have it broken down. So the combine visits, pre-draft local visits, virtual meetings even. And these are all the players that we met with, all 56 players. You could see 4 tackles, 4 interior offensive linemen, 3 of which were centers. I think the Bills could opt to find a backup to Mitch Morris in this year's NFL draft, 5 linebackers. The most position group was wide receiver at 11. Tight ends, the second most wide position group, was 7. Running back 5. Tackles, D-tackles 5. Defensive ends 4. Corners 4. And safeties 7. Tied with tight end. Now, what I did was I broke this down as well. You guys could see, I'm sorry, you guys could see we broke this down, but best available draft board per Pro Football Focus. So you could see Bijan Robinson. Pro Football Focus has him rated 8th best player coming out, projected player. Jackson Smith-Njigba, 9th best player. But we all know the Bills are not going to see eye to eye exactly with Pro Football Focus. Pro Football Focus is very analytical, but they don't go into character and DNA and team fit. And I think that's where I come in, my understanding, my expertise of what Brandon Beane has said this offseason, knowing our team so well. And I really hope you guys enjoy this mock draft simulation. So you're going to see me do the mock here, and we're going to be flipping back and forth between really my top prospects. So you guys could see these are my top prospects listed in order. You guys can see all the running backs, wide receivers at the top, but my best available list down here. So this mock draft, what I'm going to do, depending on who we draft before, the position that we draft before, depending on what happens here, if Bijan Robinson's available, I'm going to select him, right? If Njigba's available and Bijan's not there, I'm going to take Njigba. So we're going to be drafting best available. Nabel, what's up, man? I appreciate you guys. Comments, questions, concerns. Drop them in the comment section below. Make sure you guys vote on that poll as well. Where do you guys think the Buffalo Bills are going to be going in the first round tonight's mock draft? So make sure you guys answer on that poll. We're going to be ending it in just a second here. Just some things I want to discuss before this draft that we start, taking a look at some of these player projections. I just think a lot of these players make a lot of sense. Jack Campbell is a favorite player of mine, transitioning from Tremaine Edmonds, right? You'll see Pro Football Focus has him as the 39th best projected player coming out, but I have him as the 4th best player coming out. You guys could draw some more conclusions with this too. It's pretty interesting when you take a look at the Buffalo Bills top 10 players. So after this simulation, make sure you guys vote on that poll. But these are the top 10 players here that I have listed. Bijan Robinson, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Nolan Smith, Jack Campbell, Anton Harrison, Jordan Addison, Darnell Wright, Zay Flowers, Darnell Washington, and Michael Mayer, tight end. And we're going to hopefully get into some of these breakdowns and why I have them rated this way. For example, the reason why I have Anton Harrison above of Darnell Wright is because Darnell Wright is not able to play the left side. He's fixed to one side. And we know how the Buffalo Bills cherish and value guys that can cross-train, that can play multiple positions. And I think a guy like Anton Harrison, He's a little bit more nimble, and they were talking about deep drop back, how far they could drop back. And Anton Harrison has Darnell Wright beat in that department. Wright might be a better run blocker, but again, the Bills are primarily a passing team. And we saw Spencer Brown get beat in pass blocking, right? So these are the top 10 players. Let's start this simulation. I'm going to end the poll here. You guys got the final votes in. We got some decent amount of votes. Let's see what we got. Let's end the poll. We got a widespread tally here. We got 60% say the Buffalo Bills are going to be going wide receiver here in tonight's mock draft. 20% say linebacker. 20% say offensive tackle. Let's go. Let's go. I think it's time we start. this NFL draft, guys. JSN or Jordan Addison. Nabel wants JSN or Jordan Addison. So we're going to be highlighting this. Let's go. Let's start this NFL draft. Let's see. We're going to be taking my best player available. And hopefully we get one of these top 10 guys for the Bills. Never know. You never know. NFL's crazy sometimes. Let's see. I got all these tabs open. All right. The 2023 NFL draft is about to begin. Let's clear this out. Let's start it. Players are flying off the board. Bijan Robinson is off the board, guys. And tonight, I'm not accepting any trades. Just letting you guys know. Just not going to complicate things. Just going to reject everything, even if it's super intriguing. We're getting a ton of trades, ton of people interested in the pick, and I think that could very well be the best move for Brandon Beane. Dylan says 2 days, boys, 2 days. Well, guess what? We on the clock right now. We're on the clock right now. We're going to take a look at best player available. We got to take a look. A lot of players are off the board, and I'm betting that our guy Jack Campbell's on the board. I'm betting that Jack Campbell's on the board, man. And to be honest, to go on, Jack Campbell's the fourth best player for me in this year's NFL draft. Pro Football Focus has him 39th. I mean, you listen to interviews, you listen to what the coaches say about this kid, making the teammates around him better. I think Jack Campbell is better in coverage and has better instincts than Tremaine Edmonds, basically close to the same height, 250 pounds. They ran a 4.65 40, but even Sean McDermott specifically said in his press conferences, he doesn't care about the measurables in the combine, right? And all these things. He cares about football players. If they show up on tape, if they're balling out, Jack Campbell clearly does that. Working one-on-one with Luke Kuechly this offseason, Jack Campbell just makes so much sense. And yes, Drew Sanders I was high on. Also Trenton Simpson I'm awfully high on too. But Jack Campbell, to me, makes the most amount of sense. He exudes Sean McDermott, and I think he'll sweat and bleed Buffalo Bills blue-collar DNA on a play-to-play freaking basis. Jack Campbell come on Buffalo Bills and win Defensive Rookie NFL MVP. His understanding of pass coverage, coupled with his instincts, man, Jack Campbell, you were getting the best linebacker. I agree, Dylan. We're going to be taking, it looks like Jack Campbell, if he's still available. I was just hyping about Jack Campbell. I hope he's still available. And yes, a lot of people see Mozzie Smith. A lot of people high on Mozzie Smith. Wow, we got Will McDonald. But Mozzie Smith was arrested. Not a lot of people know this, but Mozzie Smith, it was an unfortunate situation. And maybe the Bills are okay with it because it was such an unfortunate situation. But he was arrested. They found him with a gun. He was in the process of getting his concealed pistol permit, and he was speeding. He was going 50 miles an hour in a 25-mile-an-hour zone, and he got pulled over. They found the gun not in a case, and he actually got arrested for a felony at the time, but it got downgraded to just a misdemeanor. So, just that alone is a little shady. Matt Ariza last year, the punter, all that stuff. But, guys, here we got to make sure that our guy's available. Jack Campbell's not even there. Someone drafted Jack. Oh, no, he's there. He's there. Oh, my God. I almost had a heart attack. Our guy's still there. All right. And just some other differences, too, just to get this clear, guys. I'm going to be taking my time tonight. But some things we have to understand is I had Drew Sanders actually ahead of Jack Campbell. I had Trenton Simpson ahead of Jack Campbell at one point, but Jack Campbell completely sold me. Now, Trenton Simpson, the reason why I like him is because we have Balin Spector here. Balin Spector played at Clemson, made that transition from linebacker at Clemson to the Buffalo Bills. He can help that transition for Trenton Simpson coming from Clemson to the Buffalo Bills. Balin Spector made that transition. So I really like that. Plus, Trenton Simpson grew up in the Carolinas, grew up watching Cam Newton, Sean McDermott in this defense, specifically said Trenton Simpson, Shaq Thompson in this defense. He grew up watching that and idolizing that. I love that about Trenton Simpson. Yes, he's small, but the Bills have transitioned to a high potent passing attack with Josh Allen. Who knew? When we drafted Tremaine Edmonds, we didn't know Josh Allen was going to become the best quarterback in the NFL. And we didn't know that we were going to run up the score offensively. We didn't know that was going to be our recipe to win, right? So I think utilizing that philosophy, understanding our recipe to win on Sundays is running up that score, utilizing Josh Allen. We can transition away from a middle linebacker that's not as great, maybe against the run, because teams are going to have to be passing it to keep up with this offense, right? So again, Drew Sanders, to me, 9.5 sacks last year against 6 nationally ranked teams, which is absolutely excellent. But one quote from Luke Kuechly after he was already cemented as a Hall of Fame linebacker in 2017, after the season, after he allowed the lowest quarterback rating of any linebacker in the NFL that year, Luke Kuechly said to the media he needed to improve on his pass rushing ability. And that was with Sean McDermott. So knowing that Luke Kuechly maybe wasn't the best at his pass rushing skills, but was already cemented as a Hall of Fame linebacker, just proves that maybe pass rushing ability isn't that important. So for me, it's like Drew Sanders would fit a 3-4 scheme a little bit better, kind of being dictated on a play-to-play basis, right? 3-4 scheme, you're kind of being told to blitz, to stunt, to go back into coverage, right? Whereas our scheme, the 3-4, you're that spy in the middle of this defense. You have such an opportunity. You're surrounded by talent. Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Trey White, Christian Benford, Kyer Elam, Von Miller, Greg Rousseau, Ed Oliver, all these guys, right? You are in the best position to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Yeah, I believe that. Sauce Gardner did it last year. I think Jack Campbell could very well do it for the Buffalo Bills this year. He's got the instincts. He's got the will. He's got the DNA. I don't know. I don't know. Dylan says, I know Josh Allen's going to be the best quarterback in the NFL without a doubt. I knew it too, man. I told him that in person when he got drafted before he even played it down. D-Hop 3 round. It's got it. D-Hop could happen, depending on what transpires here. But the first pick in this year's NFL draft, going based on my best available draft board. Again, if you guys are just joining us here, we are taking a consolidated approach here, taking a look at all the pre-draft interviews, all 56 players that Brandon Beane rubbed elbows with and shoulders with, any player that we spent extra time with. We know how important that is with this roster, coupled with Pro Football Focus overall rankings, projected rankings with all these players, combined with my insight into the Buffalo Bills, our needs, our wants, and just knowing what Bills Mafia wants. So you'll see the list here in parentheses, Pro Football Focus overall ranking, but I have them rated here. So we're going through the list. Jack Campbell's my 4th best prospect for the Buffalo Bills, whereas Pro Football Focus has him 39th. We're going to be drafting right now Jack Campbell. Come to the Buffalo Bills. I love it. I love it. I think Jack Campbell idolizes and spoke about AJ Epinesa too. So I think, having that too, we spoke about Trenton Simpson. Trenton Simpson, knowing Balin Spector can come here, right? But AJ Epinesa, Jack Campbell, we're drafted him. First pick of the Buffalo Bills, 2023 mock draft here. We select Jack Campbell. Let's go. Let me know in your comments. You said 20% predicted linebacker in the poll. So those of you that guessed that on the poll, good job. Jeff says D-Hop. We already commented that. Visible, watch Buffalo trade out of the first. We mentioned that, Visible. I agree, man. I think that would be the best opportunity to maybe trade back Again, tonight we are not doing any trades at all. But, Brandon Bean, Wheels and Deals, I've been saying it in my videos, 29% of the trades that Brandon Bean has made have been during the NFL draft. So almost a third of the time, Brandon Bean has made trades during the NFL draft. Here we go. Drew Sanders is still on the board. How crazy is that? But again, we already took linebacker. Again, Drew Sanders might be higher than other players, but since we took linebacker, that negates taking another linebacker. So let's get back into the board. We got some research and we got to see what players are available. Let's go here, man. Let's see if we could go. Let's see what we got. Drew Sanders, we interviewed with. No one here, no one there. Oh, you know what? I'm still on linebacker. That's why. I'm like, what is going on? There's no one here. You guys got this. Let's see. Drew Sanders, Kenyon White we didn't meet with. Zach Charbonnet here we met with, guys, and he could very well be the best prospect. I know he was around 50. Let's see what we got. Tank Dell, too. You guys could see Tank Dell is the 14th best prospect for me with the Buffalo Bills. Pro Football Focus has him only at 45. And the reason why I love Tank Dell is because he went against last year's NFL rookie defensive MVP on the Jets, Sauce Gardner, and he destroyed him, okay? In college, he had 9 receptions, 152 yards, and a touchdown against Sauce Gardner. I think that's absolutely huge, right? So Nathaniel Tank Dell, man, I know he would strike fear into Sauce Gardner if he was on the Buffalo Bills and we went against the Jets. So let's see if Tank Dell is available. He's very high on my list. Tight end we can take a look at here. Just make sure what we got. So let's see. Wide receiver, Tank Dell is there. Nathaniel Tank Dell is there for the Buffalo Bills. So that is an option. Let's see if we got tight end Kraft. Nope. And then interior offensive line, we don't have anyone there. The tackles, Bergeron. Okay. Let's check my list. Bergeron is not there. Bergeron's down on the list. Bergeron is the 3rd round pick for me, guys. So Tank Dell I have over Bergeron. Let's see. Okay, what else we got? We'll check out the cornerbacks. Looks like Banks is ahead, but he is gone. Right, tight ends, Tucker Kraft. Running back, Chardonnay is not way down there. So, guys, it looks like Tank Dell is going to be it. Looks like the Buffalo Bills. Tillman's not on the list. We haven't really met with him. Deontay Banks, Branch is gone. We got to check safety just to double check. Safety, Banks is gone. So it looks like Tank Dell, 2nd round pick. Buffalo Bills are going to be selecting Tank Dell, 14th best player on the Buffalo Bills draft board. Absolutely love it. I already mentioned Tank Dell went against Sauce Gardner, destroyed him, completely destroyed him. 159 yards and a touchdown against Sauce in college. Absolutely love it. Love to see it. Moving on to our 3rd round pick. We're starting to get there. Starting to get there. So the Bills did not get any trade offers for this 3rd round pick. Let's go back to all prospects. Bergeron is there for the Bills. Bergeron spent one-on-one time with Aaron Kromer. Bergeron is a Canadian, right? And we all know how Buffalo is close to Canada, right? I mean, Toronto's an hour and a half away. Ontario's right there. We have Ontario people coming in here. I see Ontario plates every day, right? So Bergeron coming from Canada, showing his face at Syracuse as a walk-on and actually signing with Syracuse, right? And then just kind of developing himself. And I like what he said, too. The Canadian Football League he played in, and compared to college and NFL and the American Football League, he says that the transition at the offensive line position is very similar. So it's really not that big of a difference. And when people are concerned, he played a lot of Canadian football, right? It didn't play American football. he specifically says offensive line is pretty much the same. There's really not a lot. But we have a lot of guys that are great on the draft board right here. The Bills are going to get really lucky. Matthew Bergeron, he's a work in progress. But with Aaron Cromer, he could back up Spencer Brown. He could back up Deion Dawkins, right? He's just a great overall player. Tucker Kraft is a sneaky play here too, and Kraft might even be ahead of Bergeron on the list. We got to check that out. Jordan Battle, Taji Spears, the Buffalo Bills met with twice. But, man, we got a lot of guys left on the board here. Let's see. He's from Syracuse. Yeah, I mean, Syracuse is right down the road, too. He's right down the road. I'm loving Bergeron. I think Bergeron should definitely be the guy here. But we got to check and just make sure. So Musgrave, Downs, Hyatt, Bergeron. Let's just check wide receiver. We already drafted wide receiver. All those guys are gone. It's a miracle, guys. So we got Bergeron. Let's just see. We got Bergeron, Kraft, and Spears. Let's see where they're at just in comparison. I got Bergeron as the 25th best prospect for the Buffalo Bills. Taji Spears and Tucker Kraft. We got these guys down here as 31 and 32. Maybe one of these guys is available in the next round for us. This would be huge. But it's clear Bergeron is the next guy for us, without a doubt. Everyone else is gone. Bergeron is the next best available. Thank you, Weldon. Appreciate that comment, man. It means the world, dude. But Bergeron is it. Syracuse, a local guy coming to Buffalo. Let's bring him in. A+ grade for Brandon Beane with a 3rd overall pick. Spencer Brown, a 3rd round pick. Matthew Bergeron, 3rd round pick. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. You know, we discussed it, right? Bringing in a guy with not a lot of experience to mix in there, right? To get some experience with Quessenberry and Spencer Brown and all these guys. I'm recognizing a lot of names here on this list that the Bills met with. Man, we're getting pretty lucky here. We're getting pretty lucky in this mock draft. I'm getting hyped up. Are you guys kidding me right now? You guys could see just to recap. Check it out so far. We're going to be taking a look at everybody, but Jack Campbell with the 1st overall pick for the Buffalo Bills, right? Exuding Sean McDermott on a play-to-play basis, better in pass coverage and instincts than Tremaine Edmonds, I think. He's just his pursuit to the football, his coverage, his drop back, his feet when he backpedals. It's like unbelievable to watch. It's something, it reminds me of Josh Allen when we drafted him. I was like, he's so big and nimble and agile. And that's what I see in Jack Campbell. He's just unbelievable. Nathaniel Tank Dell, burning Sauce Gardner. I don't need to say anymore. 152 yards and a touchdown against last year's NFL rookie, NFL MVP. Unreal. Matthew Bergeron is that next pick. We're doing some big-time things here, guys. We're working down the list. Again, taking a consolidated approach here. How we came to all this was taking a look at all of the pre-draft visits, anyone that the Buffalo Bills rubbed elbows with, anyone that we spend time with. We know how important interviews are and getting to know how these players are going to fit into our team. We're not going to draft someone that we didn't spend time with. I doubt it. So all 56 players I took a look at, and then I compiled the list compared to Pro Football Focus's overall rankings, and we got that list. And then now we are here to where I have assembled the best available players for the Buffalo Bills using my knowledge, my understanding of Brandon Beane and what he said this offseason, and trying to think what Brandon Beane is ultimately going to do. So we're working down the list. We have our top 3 picks are in for the Buffalo Bills. We're halfway through this year's NFL draft. We have our linebacker, we have a wide receiver, and we have a tackle. It has been a miracle night here doing a Buffalo Bills draft simulation. So we got to see who is next. And one point I want to make here, the Buffalo Bills spent time with 4 interior offensive linemen, even with free agent signings of Butker, Edwards, and McGovern, right? But know what? Out of those 4 interior offensive rookies that we spent time with, 3 were centers. So could the Buffalo Bills be looking to move on from Mitch Morris or even the backup Greg Mance? we're spending a lot of money to both of those guys, and the Buffalo Bills could find a solidified starter for the future. That's money that we could allocate and save to other positions, maybe re-signing our own like Ed Oliver, right? Ed Oliver in a contract year. We don't know what's going to happen with Ed. We got to see Von Miller, Ed, Greg Rousseau. We really haven't seen this defensive line firing on all cylinders. So let's see who is the next best available. You guys could check out my list. I really like Joe Tippmann from Penn State. I have him very, very high on the list. You'll see Pro Football Focus has him as 67, but I have him beating a lot of these other guys. Let's just see who is ultimately available here. We got to go through this list. I know Jamie Robinson we definitely spent time with, and he's listed as a safety here. He's kind of known to be a safety cornerback. He's like a hybrid type. So you talk about a Taron Johnson type. Taron Johnson taking on offensive linemen. He's kind of similar to a Taron Johnson. So we got to see where Jamie Robinson is on this list. He's all the way down here. He's the 39th best prospect. That'd be kind of interesting to see if he's the best available. I do like running back too. The Bills did spend time with Condra. Ooh, where's Miller? Miller's down here. So Jamie Robinson is actually ahead of Miller. Condre Miller, 43. Looks like we're still at Jamie Robinson, safety, defensive back here. You got Cam Lewis, you got Taron Johnson. Taron Johnson, to me, during games, he's huffing and puffing. We put so much on Taron Johnson. We rotate on the defensive line. We're willing to rotate our cornerbacks on the perimeter. Dane Jackson, Trey White, Kyer Elam, Christian Benford, but we don't really ever rotate Taron Johnson. Like Taron Johnson, we're 70% of the time at nickel. I think maybe a guy like Jamie Robinson can come in, help compete with Cam Lewis, help rotate with Taron Johnson, have Taron Johnson playing at 100% wind, right? Effort, not being tired and huffing and puffing, taking on those offensive linemen. It's rough, right? But the Buffalo Bills also need to consider here a defensive tackle. Jordan Phillips, Tim Settle, Daquan Jones. The Bills could save literally $14 million by drafting a solidified defensive tackle in this year's NFL draft. If we can consolidate all three of those guys next year who are all under one-year deals, the Bills could very well save $14 million in cap space and maybe allocate that money to re-sign Ed if that's what we want to do. So we got to take a look. Jamie Robinson, Jervine Dexter, okay? Pickens, too, is high. Roy and Shrugs. Miller is there, too, as well. But we got to take a look at all these guys. Rashawn Johnson is gone. Let's see. Edge. Byron Young is gone. Okay, I just want to see here. We didn't meet with Byron Young. There, we see the battle is gone. Wide receiver Wilson is gone. All these guys are gone. I'm just double checking here. Even the linebacker Hall, although we already drafted a linebacker. But let's see. Interior defensive line. Brian Young. Is Dexter, Pickens, or Roy still available? Looks like they're all gone. Dexter, Pickens, and Roy are all gone. That's not good. So we missed out on our defensive tackle, our rookie defensive tackle in this year's draft. I don't see anyone there. Pickens and Roy. All right, we got to move on. We got to move on from our defensive tackle. All right, it looks like potentially the backup here, Jamie Robinson, could be the guy. I really think that could be it. Another safety defensive back hybrid. Or do the Buffalo Bills go running back? Let's see if Shrugs is here too. We got running back Shrugs. I just want to see who's all available. Interior offensive line. Shrugs is still there. But again, we have Jamie Robinson. You got to take best available, right? Look at the value. The value on Jamie Robinson is ridiculous. So call me crazy. We got to go with that, guys. Jamie Robinson, we'll show you here, 39th best prospect for the Buffalo Bills. taking him over Kendre Miller, running back. Jamie Robinson, we're going to be selecting here. Select him. Jamie Robinson, we get an A+ grade for the position. We're going to be drafting again very quick. Here we are. We're on the clock again. Kendre Miller is still on the clock. He's clearly the best guy. Bills have Damian Harris here, only on a 1-year deal. Really think Buffalo Bills are looking for another physical style runner here. Kendre Miller could very well be it. Let's see. Shrugs is still there, but Kendre Miller, the value is too good. The value is too good. Let's see. We're going to do it. Kendre Miller, running back at 137, A+ grade. Moving along here. Let's see. Bills have one more pick. Going to get it. Moving down the list. Kind of disappointed we missed out on that defensive tackle. It's a big loss for the Bills. We're going to reject the trade. And again, we didn't accept any trades in this year's draft, mock draft tonight. If Brandon Beane does opt to move back, we could very well pick up an extra draft pick. Let's see. Let's see what we have. Okay, we gotta stick with our board. We gotta stick with our board. We already got our linebacker. We got our wide receiver, a tackle, a safety, a running back. You know, it would have been really, really nice. Let's see what we got. Defensive line. I know we met with some defensive linemen here. Another safety, another tight end. Is Nick Broker available? I think Broker's gone. Broker is gone. All right. So let's see. Defensive line. No. Juice. I wish Juice, if interior offensive line. So Juice. Oh, and here's Nick Broker. I think Broker's the guy, guys. I think Juice got selected. So here, Roy is gone. Juice got selected. I doubt we would go another wide receiver. We didn't meet with any of these guys either. Trey Tucker we met with, but he's all the way down here. He's down at the bottom. Wow. I think it's going to be Nick Broker. Another offensive lineman. We got to solidify things on the interior as well. Get younger. Here we go. Nick Broker, the 51st best prospect on the Buffalo Bills board, Nick Broker. We're going to be summarizing this. Let's go. Cecil, this is actually all the players that the Buffalo Bills actually rubbed elbows with and actually met with pre-draft. So this is a very good idea who the Buffalo Bills will be drafting. So it's very important to understand these are the pre-draft interviews and who we spoke with, who we had one-on-ones with, who we know all about. Let's get right into this, guys. This is going to be absolutely huge. Bills Mafia, we got to recap. We got to recap this draft. Holy cow. I feel like we got lucky. We got very, very lucky. We're very fortunate to see what unfolded here. So first pick, Buffalo Bills select Jack Campbell, right? We had some other players on the board. We could check it out down here, right? I mean, we passed on Mozzie Smith, right? Passed on a lot of guys, but Jack Campbell was by far the best guy for Bills Mafia. So we got that linebacker. Put the linebacker on the best spot on this defense. Win defensive rookie MVP. Really think Jack Campbell is going to exude Sean McDermott on a play-to-play basis. Hearing the coaches talk about how Jack Campbell is so focused not only on himself, but the players around him, the quarterback of this defense. The first time Sean McDermott's going to be calling plays, we need a guy that is just football. We need a guy that just lives and breathes football like Sean McDermott does. And I think Jack Campbell is by far that guy. And we hear analysts saying that the swing in this year, it's super big. Like you have people that think, one player is a lot better than the other. Jack Campbell, to me, is that guy for the Buffalo Bills. I really think Jack Campbell is the number one dude. And I really think this makes the most amount of sense for the Bills. He can come in, be surrounded by Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Von Miller, Trey White. It's just unbelievable to know what Jack Campbell can do in this offense. Knowing that teams are going to have to pass the ball against Josh Allen in this high potent passing offense makes so much sense to have a guy like Jack Campbell, who is coverage skills are just unbelievable for being that big. His transition step to the football is unreal. His back pedal is unreal. He looks like a defensive back, but he's a huge linebacker. And he's tenacious. He's tenacious. Give me some Jack Campbell. AJ Epinesa, Jack Campbell, Iowa, that same connection. I love that too. Blue-collar DNA, Jack Campbell fits the Buffalo Bills. He reminds me of that Josh Allen pick. Not going to lie. And then Tank Dell, I've mentioned this several times tonight, but went against Sauce Gardner in college. We know how good Sauce Gardner is. Not only that he plays for the Jets, but he won NFL Rookie MVP last year. So as I said, Jack Campbell has a chance to win that with the Buffalo Bills. Juice, Sauce did it last year on the Jets. So we got to get that back, Bills Mafia. Buffalo Bills need to win Defensive Rookie MVP under Sean McDermott. First time calling plays. Jack Campbell's going to do that. And then we're going to get the nightmare of Sauce Gardner's dreams, Nathaniel Tank Dell, who went against Sauce in college twice. That second matchup, 9 receptions, 152 yards, and a touchdown. Unbelievable. In the first matchup, I think it was like 3 receptions for 60 yards, which is still pretty decent. But 152 yards and a touchdown, 9 receptions. Tank Dell is small. He's agile. He'd be a great slot wide receiver, maybe potentially transitioning to the outside as a home run threat. We got to see. And then the blessing here for Bills Mafia. Are you guys kidding me? Matthew Bergeron falls to the Buffalo Bills in the 3rd round, the same round that we selected Spencer Brown. I absolutely love it. Yes, and guys, get your comments, questions in the chat. We're going to be going over them all. Matthew Bergeron coming from Canada, going to Syracuse right down the street. What a perfect fit for the Buffalo Bills. Saying that offensive line in Canada, Canadian football is very similar to the American Football League. So I think he is definitely a work in progress. But with Aaron Kromer, one of the best offensive line coaches in the NFL, if not the best, winning a Super Bowl with the Rams, right? Aaron Kromer leading the number 1 rushing attack in Buffalo with Rex Ryan. Aaron Kromer could get the most out of Matthew Bergeron, have him compete with David Quessenberry. And I like it. Right? Spencer Brown, Bergeron. It's a good competition in this year's training camp. And then Jamie Robinson was just too good to turn down. A safety cornerback hybrid. And we thought during the draft, and my reasoning here is that he'd be a good person to compete with Taron Johnson, to mix in with Taron Johnson. My concern is the durability of Taron Johnson. We talk about Josh Allen and his durability and rotating guys on this defensive line for their longevity through the season. We don't want to be walking wounded or that badly hurt at the end of the season. We want to be fresh throughout the year. And a guy like Jamie Robinson can come in, maybe eventually contribute and start rotating with Taron Johnson. Taron Johnson's taking on offensive linemen, right? He's like a linebacker type hybrid here. I think it just makes a lot of sense that Jamie Robinson, being a linebacker, safety, cornerback hybrid, could maybe come in. It was just a great value that the Buffalo Bills could not turn away from. Plus Florida State, that's some top-notch competition. Kondre Miller, all right, another great value for the Buffalo Bills. At 137 overall TCU, Kondre Miller is there for the Bills. We snatched him up. Damian Harris on a 1-year deal. Nyheim Hines on a 1-year deal. The thing that helps here is that Damian Harris is coming from the Patriots. We know this offense stems from Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll's verbiage and lingo comes from the Patriots, spending 10 plus years with Bill Belichick and that offense. So the verbiage, Damian Harris and Brian Daboll, it's very close, very similar. Nyheim Hines, when he came here, said this offensive playbook sounded like Chinese to him. And we can imagine how a rookie like James Cook had to deal with that and understand that. Now with a full offseason for both of them, obviously they're going to be better and more progressed. But again, 1-year deals for Damian Harris and Nyheim Hines. The Bills would be wise to bring in another running back. Kendre Miller was the best available player, and it just so happened to be right there at 137. And then at the very end of this draft, we were hoping for Juice Shrugs at Penn State. The Bills spending time with 4 interior rookies before the NFL draft, 3 of which were centers. So after solidifying the interior of this offensive line via free agency with Bucker, Edwards, and McGovern, the Bills opt for another offensive interior lineman, Nick Broker, but I think he would be a great center, backup center to Mitch Morris and Greg Mance. There's an awful lot of money there. Now, the real disappointment and thing that I don't know would really happen here after listening to Brandon Beane. Again, get your comments in. We're going to review those. But Brandon Beane flat out stating that, one area of concern is defensive tackle. Jordan Phillips, Tim Settle, DeQuan Jones, all these guys are under 1-year deals. Even Ed Oliver is under a 1-year deal. But between DeQuan Jones, Settle, and Phillips, that's $14 million that the Bills could actually free up in cap space if we were to land a defensive tackle or find a future defensive tackle in this year's NFL draft. Now, we got to keep in mind we got Shaq Lawson there still too, Boogie Basham, AJ Epinesa, Greg Rousseau. We're still waiting to see a little bit from all these guys. But from my take in my mock draft, the thing I'm coming away disappointed is that we did not come away with the defensive tackle. So very interesting, though. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. You guys could see this does break down some ratings and things here on the players, but let's just get into your comments, your questions, your concerns. Hope you guys enjoyed it so far tonight. I can actually reduce the size of this again just to show you guys the list. If you guys have any comments, questions, or why I have a certain player ahead of a different player, you can take a look at my best available list that we put together here. So, but yeah, guys, comments, questions, concerns, get them in the chat. We're going to be starting here. Joey, we'll start right here. Joey says Nathaniel Tank Dell was a good selection. I like to get him in the 3rd or 4th. Yep, I know. I definitely have Tank Dell higher than most. But when you take a look at the wide receivers in this draft, I really think Jackson Smith-Njigba, if he falls to the Buffalo Bills at 27th, that's like a no-brainer, And then you have Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers, both those guys too. It's like a no-brainer. And then really, who is next? And I really think it's Tank Dell. Tank Dell is the next best wide receiver for me. And I really, really, really like that. Cecil says, go look at, remember Justin Zimmer's defensive tackle. Definitely good. Caleb Murphy. Yep, Caleb Murphy could be on the Bills list, but we never met with him or spent time with him pre-draft. So I'm not putting him on my radar, unfortunately. Steven Sutton says, I say trade them all for 4 rounds. Yeah, I definitely am anticipating a trade, and it could very well happen in the 1st round. I mean, Jack Campbell's clearly a little bit rich. He's a little bit rich of a selection, but I really think he just fits the Buffalo Bills flawlessly. Let's see. What running back? We got that running back, Steven. I hope you're happy with that. Pretty realistic draft. Thank you. I appreciate that compliment. Leon says, nice live. Appreciate you guys. You guys are all awesome. If you guys are watching this live with me, please hit like. If you're not watching this live, hit like. Also, in the description below, I'm sponsored by a couple people. SeatGeek is now offering $20 off when you use promo code BNC. You guys can utilize that down below. Also, Fanatics. It's an official, authentic NFL gear website. Fanatics. You guys can click the link down below. There's all sorts of new releases. They're releasing new Buffalo Bills gear every single day. You guys can see this hoodie here. So you guys can get the freshest Buffalo Bills merch. The link down below at the Fanatics. It looks like I will be going live during the NFL draft all week long. Hope you guys enjoy this. We're going to be really taking a look at my best available, see how close we are through all these draft picks. So again, I hope you guys truly enjoyed tonight's stream. You guys are all awesome. Bills Mafia is the best. Hit like, subscribe. I will check you guys soon. Go Bills. Peace.